What's going on, my trainer club? Today we are going to look at how to select IVs for the Go Battle League in Pokemon Go to make sure that you get the best Pokemon. So welcome to the trainer club. Here we go. Welcome back, everybody. Let me know in the comments below, are you excited to transition from league to league? But today, we are obviously gonna help you out with picking your top Pokemon, helping you with picking some teams, but we're gonna look at how to choose the best IVs for Pokemon when you are looking at what is the best place scenario, because we used to just use GoStadium.club. However, there has been a shakeup, which is going to be called CMP, which is gonna be Charge Move Priority, meaning whichever Pokemon, if they both get the attack moves at the same time, has the higher attack stat, is going to go first. So you do want to weigh this in if you're using two spammy Pokemon, like a lot of people like to use very quick charging moves. 3 to 4 to 5 quick moves to get to their first charge move, which is a really effective strategy. However, if you have the lower attack, you're going to start to lose every single time. So you want to weigh this in. So that's what we're going to check out, everything you need to know as far as this goes today. So let's get into it right now. All right, guys, we are here with Justin again.
Hey again,
JR Skater, and today we're going to get into the PvP IVs that I do mention in quite a bit of my videos, and it's kind of a good segue for us to get into that right now because IVs are pretty important, and we're going to have two different scenarios coming at you. So we're going to go with the standard IVs that we're going to check out on the GoStadium.club, and then we're also going to get into, with Justin, a little bit more in-depth analysis.
Right, the main reason we're showing you this video right now is because we made our last video on the introduction of PvP, but before you invest a ton of Stardust into your Pokemon, powering it up, getting the second moves, you want to make sure you're powering up the right ones because it can be a very huge waste of Stardust if you don't power up the right Pokemon. So we got to get this video out for you now so that you can use this information now before you waste your Stardust. So we're going to talk about first the Go Stadium website.
Yeah, and then we're getting right into the Ultra League, and then we're going to go to the Master League and then back to the Great League. So we want to make sure you guys have the right IVs. Like Justin said, you don't waste your Stardust, and probably one of the most crucial things, which I think later in the video, like we talked about, you'll see Justin talk about the in-depth analysis of like certain matchups and why you may choose a disadvantage from what you would see on Go Stadium that we're about to get into, because it's going to win you specific matchups, which is going to be pretty crucial as we get into higher, like, you know, in-depth analysis and higher skill levels for PvP. So the first website we're going to talk about is going to be GoStadium.club. So we're going to get right into that website. So if you guys are not familiar with it, it's definitely a website you're going to want to bookmark. It's great for PvP, getting what the 100% IVs, because they are different than the standard 100% IVs, which we typically see as the 15-15-15 that we talk about for the raid bosses. This is going to be different. Typically, like I've talked about in a lot of my videos, it's going to be a pretty low attack on average, you know, probably like 90% even more of the time. And then higher defense and stamina is going to be better because you can power your Pokemon up level wise, because the attack has such a high weight in powering up the Pokemon in its matching. So we're going to get into that right now, GoStadium.club. So if we're checking out GoStadium.club, we're basically going to go into the hamburger and we are going to click on the resources tab, and then we're going to click on the IV spread. So once we get into the IV spread, this page is going to look very similar to this right here, and we are going to enter in the Pokemon name and then obviously the league. It's going to be standardly set to Great League. However, since we're going into Ultra and then we're going to go into Master, make sure when you come and look at these Pokemon, because it does matter, you're going to check out, if you're going to Ultra League, you're going to have to click on the drop down menu and change it into the Ultra League to then get you into the appropriate IVs, because something that's good for Great League may have a potentially different spread for the Ultra League. And then obviously the other thing we can go here, if you check out this, it's going to be the wild catch. So this means that it's going to be at a 100% IV, the full potential range, all the way from a 0 attack, defense or stamina, all the way to 15. So it's going to get the true wild catch. Obviously, if you've caught it weather boosted, it's going to not be at a true wild catch because it's going to have a base floor for the attack, defense, and stamina, but the true wild catch will give you the whole entire range. I believe it's about 4,096 differential combinations of the moves that's going to get us there. So, and then obviously you drop in your attack, defense, and stamina, you click generate, and then it's going to give you the ranking for the IVs. And so you're going to be able to see the level of the Pokemon, of what it needs to go to, which is going to correlate to the Pokemon you have. And that's going to give you the IV spread that you have. And then if you keep looking downwards, it's going to give you like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rank. rank if you want to see what you're looking out for. And then you're also going to see the CP, the attack, the defense, and the stamina of what the Pokemon's going to be. And then it's going to give you the percentage on the very right, which is going to be like, you know, that's why we picked top 600, because it's going to be in the 96th percentile of basically the Pokemon. And so a 96% IV is a pretty good benchmark to basically say like, okay, 96%, like I'm doing pretty good. My Pokemon's going to compete pretty well. One of the things we do have to realize is that when we say the CMP, which is charge move priority, what I thought initially, and Justin just corrected me not too long ago, was it was going to be like an attack stat. An IV of like 15 makes it the best, when in reality, we're looking at the actual stat of the entire Pokemon, not just a 0 through the 15. So I thought if we were going to go in with like a Venusaur versus like a Haunter, and I had a 15 on my Venusaur as far as my IV, and his Haunter had a 12 IV in the attack stat, my Venusaur would win. But in reality...
Yeah, in reality, it does not work like that. So a common misconception is people think the IVs, or like the attack IVs, are the same as the attack stat. IVs and stats are different. They're not the same thing. So you could have a 15 attack IV Venusaur, but it still has a lower attack stat than a Haunter will, because a Haunter has a way high attack stat, and even like a 0 IV attack IV Haunter will still have a higher attack stat than a Venusaur. We're going to get into that when we talk about PvPoke, but the reason that's important is way back in the day when PvP first started, charge move priority was almost randomized, meaning charge move priority means if you have two Pokemon, you get to the charge move at the exact same time, and you both press the button at the exact same time, one of those Pokemon has to go first. One of them has to get priority. Before, it went to whoever sent the invite to the other player, and if that person accepted, they got charge move priority. So if you guys tied, they got to go first. And then if you click rematch, you know, if you click rematch first, then you get it. Later on, they randomized it, so it was totally random. So you didn't have to worry about who sent the invite, who didn't. It was a little bit better. But then they changed it again, like literally like a month ago. And now it's based on the attack stat of the Pokemon. So it kind of relates to the main series games, like the speed stat, from what I've heard. I don't play the main series games, but like that's what they're basically referring it to. It's kind of like a speed stat now. It just determines who goes first when you tie. So that's why the attack stat matters. So with the attack stat, we're going to show you his website called pvpoke.com. And this is the second website you definitely want to check out. It's kind of like the Bible for PvP players. It's where we go to run simulations, just kind of train and check how much damage Pokemon does to each other. All that information to see like how you're going to do an actual battle. PvPoke is the website. So again, it's pvpoke.com. And the main three features that I like to use on this website, I check the rankings. So I can go to the Great League, Ultra League, and check the top Pokemon for each league, which ones I want to work on powering up, especially for Go Battle League. That's what I'm looking at right now. It also has a train feature, so if you literally want to pretend you're battling someone else, you can click train, put in your Pokemon that you want to like pretend that you're using, and then you can select who you want to go against. You can just do random Go Battle League Pokemon, and then it'll actually simulate a battle, and you will tap on your phone just like you're doing in a real battle, so you can see how you would do. So that's a really good practice feature to do if you can't find someone else to practice with. And then finally, the main feature I use it for is for battle simulations. And so if you click on the tab Battle, you can do a single battle, and you can type in one Pokemon. Like for example, you could type in Venusaur, then you could type in on the other side, you could type in, for example, Sableye, and then you can just pick the moves that you want each Pokemon to have. You can choose how many shields you want it to have, and then you can click Battle, and what it'll do is it'll run a simulation of what will actually happen in that battle. The little tiny boxes there that you see are the quick moves. So and you can hover your mouse over it to see how much damage it does and how much energy it generates against the other Pokemon. And then like the big circles that you see there are the actual charge moves. And so you can see exactly how that battle will play out. And if you want to go even more in depth and actually control what happens to see what exactly would happen in which scenario, you can click the sandbox mode. And then you can actually click on each circle, which represents a tap on the phone, and you can click, okay, I want this tap to be a charge move, I want it to be a quick move. You can literally simulate any type of battle you want. And so that's how you can really see how which Pokemon, you know, beats which Pokemon in battle. So that way, when you go to Battle League, you have a little bit more preparation and more information to know which Pokemon to avoid and which ones are good matchups for you. All right, so now that you kind of see how you can kind of use PvPoke, we're just going to end this video by talking about specific matchups that can kind of show you how the IVs and attack stats matter. So one of the examples I'm going to show you is Venusaur versus Azumarill. Now, with this matchup, you basically want to use your general Go Stadium high rank Venusaur. So you want like the low attack, high defense. And when I click battle here on the simulator, you can see that Venusaur will end up with more, it'll win the match and it'll have more HP versus a Venusaur that has a higher attack stat. You know, it'll still win, but it'll have less HP. So in that situation, you want a Venusaur with a low attack, high defense. In this other scenario, we're going to go against Venusaur versus Sableye. Now, Sableye is really similar to Venusaur in the sense that it has the same duration of quick moves. Their quick moves last the same amount of time, and they charge up their charge moves at the same rate. So literally, if you have a low attack Venusaur, Sableye will get to its foul play before you will. Now, if you have a high attack Venusaur, you'll get to your Frenzy Plant before Sableye. How does that make a difference? Yes, it makes a huge difference because a low attack Venusaur will win, but just barely, whereas a high attack Venusaur will win with a lot of HP left over. Okay, and then the final matchup is Venusaur versus Bastiodon. Now, if you have a high attack Venusaur, you will beat even the #1 ranked Bastiodon. A 12, 15, 15 Bastiodon is the #1 ranked PvP IVs. And if you don't have a high attack Venusaur, you will lose that matchup because a Bastiodon will last long enough to get a second flamethrower off to knock you out. However, if you have a high attack Venusaur, your damage output will be larger, and so the Bastiodon will not get to that second flamethrower, and you will still win that matchup. So, I know that's a lot of information. If you want to rewind the video and go back and rewatch that part, it's a lot of information at you at once. But just to summarize, for the most part, if you don't want to go too much in depth, just go to Go Stadium, enter in your IVs, check. If it's a low rank, you're good to go. Keep it, power it up, max it out, second move. If you're struggling with Go Battle League, you want to just get a little more in depth, maybe you want to have 2 Venusaurs, one with low attack, one with high attack. You can use PvPoke to kind of see how they would do against certain Pokemon. You can cross-reference it with your own Pokemon and say, okay, this one will do the best against Bastiodon. I'm going to also keep this one as my attack Venusaur. And that's what I did personally. I have 2 Venusaurs that I run, one with a 3 attack, one with a 7 attack IV, and I use them for different scenarios.
So the cool thing about that is you just have to really realize and kind of take it in as far as Go Battle League, because if Sableye were to get hot at some point, or people discovered how to use Bastiodon a little bit better, or if it got a different move, and so then you would have this scenario where Justin just talked about that you'd have a huge advantage over something that's normally weak to this move set, and you're able to not only come out by a small amount or die, you're able to at least waste 1 shield for certain, or you're getting a KO on this Pokemon that would normally KO you. So it's a big advantage, because then going in, if you have an Azumarill coming in after the Bastiodon, you have a semi-potentially charged up Venusaur, and you have a good amount of health on that too, so you can get another Frenzy Plant on another Pokemon in the future, and those little HP differentials are going to be humongous in winning those matches.
Yeah, and so again, if you go on PvPoke and you enter in your IVs, you will see its attack stat, and when you mess with the level, you can raise the level, lower the level. You'll see even the same attack IV, the attack stat will change and increase depending on the level. So the attack stat is really what you want to be more concerned about when talking about PvP. And I run into enough Bastiodons in Go Battle League, maybe you have too, to know that for me, and maybe for you too, having a higher attack Venusaur will win you that matchup more often, and you'll get better results, because you'll win that matchup. You won't have to worry about switching. You'll just be in a much better situation. So hopefully this helped. Hopefully this helped you guys know which Pokemon in your bag you want to power up, so that you don't waste dust on the wrong one
Yeah.
So yeah, that was why we wanted to put out this
exactly,
video.
because like, you know, coming from a meta attacker, raider, gym battler, you're looking for 15, 15, 15. That's not the case in PvP. We've talked about it quite a bit. I hope this helps you guys understand a little bit more.
So that's gonna do it, guys. Make sure to take this into account when you are picking which IVs to power up your Pokemon with, because the CMP is very impactful. We want you to get your charge move off first, because the first person to the charge move is going to have the other person on the defensive. Do we know which moves they're gonna have, or do we have to shield? And either case scenario is going to be a win for you. So thank you guys for tuning in, all my likers, commenters, subscribers, and Patreon members, and everybody that takes their subscriptions to the next level. I'm gonna see you out on the next video. Peace!
I just want to take a moment and sincerely thank all of my Patreon members, everybody that has taken their subscription to the next level and chosen to support me on this platform. I greatly appreciate you guys. As a growing channel and really trying to grow and improve as much as I possibly can, I really appreciate the extra support. You guys mean the absolute world to me. I cannot wait to connect with you soon, and I appreciate you guys all for being a part of the Trainer Club. I will see you guys out on the next video.